Hello children, in today's class we are going to discuss Paradise Lost book 1, that is line number 300 to 330. This is what we are going to discuss in today's class. So here description of fallen angels, a very important part of part 1, book 1. So fallen angels are described here. This is line number 300. Thick as autumnal leaves that shroud the brooks in Vallombrosa, where the Etrurian shades a high overarched empower, a scattered sedge afloat, when with fierce winds Orion armed has vexed the Red Sea coast, whose waves overthrew Basilius and his Memphian chivalry, while with perfidious hatred they pursued. This first line, see, thick as autumnal leaves that strew the brooks. So the fallen angels, the defeated angels, are compared here to the autumnal leaves, that is thick as autumn leaves that litter the river in Vallombrosa. So the fallen angels, they float thick as autumn leaves. So this is actually a common simile for dead in a classical epic, and Milton has used that here. That strew the brooks. Strew means choked or blocked. So the autumn leaves blocked the brook, the free flowing of the river brooks in Vallombrosa. So Vallombrosa, it's a famously shady valley near Florence. So that is completely blocked, where the Etrurian shades, Etrurian means trees, that is the trees, abstract shades for trees, high overarch empower or scattered sedge. So sedge is that is a seaweed. Sedge means seaweed, that is countless plants that grow in ocean and afloat when with fierce winds Orion armed. So Orion is actually in Greek myth. Orion was a huntsman, and also it's a visible constellation in the night sky, and its rising and setting is associated with stormy wind. So Orion is a visible constellation in the night sky. Also, Orion's rising and setting is associated with stormy wind. That Orion armed has vexed the Red Sea. Vexed means disturbed. It has the Orion wind, the constellation has disturbed the Red Sea coast, whose waves overthrew, whose waves drowned Basilius and his Memphian chivalry, whose waves drowned Basilius, Egyptian king noted for his hospitality to strangers. Hercules actually paid him a visit and slew him, and he could not have been the pharaoh, that is Egyptian king, whose fate is described in Exodus chapter 14. And here if you see Milton, he has adopted that part, that is from Exodus. It was Milton, the two who persecuted the Israelites, but Memphis was not as capital. So though there are several inaccuracies in the passage, the effect and associations produced are wonderfully poetical. While the perfidious hatred they pursued. So perfidious hatred means, so because the Egyptian king first permitted the Jews to depart from Egypt, and then suddenly changing his mind, pursued them as fugitives, hoping to take them at a disadvantage. And sojourners, in fact the Israelites sojourned here, that is they sojourned here is they were sojourned for 430 years, and Goshen means the pastoral region between the delta and the desert, assigned to the Israelites on their first settlement in Egypt. So that is Goshen, who beheld from the safe shore their floating carcass, carcasses and broken chariot wheels. See, the total overthrow of this is the simile actually. Here, the fallen angels are compared to the total overthrow of the Egyptian. That is the presence. This image presents a vivid picture better than which nothing could have suggested the route of the rebel angels. So Milton seems to have been profoundly impressed by the events described in the chapter 14 of Exodus. So the triumphal passage of the Israelites over the Red Sea and the destruction of their enemy, the Egyptians. So Milton refers to these incidents again and again in book, also in book number 12. So Milton is very much impressed by the events that are described in chapter 14 of Exodus. So here if you see, the fallen angels are compared to three things. The first is to autumnal leaves, and second to the sedge. Sedges, as I said, is a countless plants that grow in ocean, seaweed. So fallen angels are first compared to the autumnal leaves, the second is to the sedge, and third is to Basilius, that is, Egyptian king and their followers, soldiers. So these are the three comparisons here. So the fallen angels are thick as autumn leaves that litter the river in Vallombrosa, where the Etrurian trees, Etrurian is an abstract shades for trees, Etrurian trees formed vaulted bowers. And the another comparison is the fallen angels, they lay thick as scattered sedges. So what are sedges? Sedges are the plants that grow in ocean. So the fallen angels, they lay thick as scattered sedges floating in the Red Sea. So when the constellation Orion has stirred it up with storms, the Red Sea, in which the Egyptian king Basilius and his horsemen were drowned while they treacherously followed the Israelites, and while the Israelites were safe on the shore, witnessed this disaster as the sea floated their dead bodies. So the fallen angels are compared to the floating dead bodies, and also broken their chariot wheels. So this is the comparison. And another comparison is these fallen angels. It is in mass groups cast down and confounded. See, covering the flood under amazement of the hideous change, he called so loud that all the hollow deep of hell resounded. So the fallen angels, they lay down, cast down and confounded, lay on the sea, that is fiery sea, and they seem to be dashed by the disaster that had overtaken them. So what Satan, looking at this image or looking at the fallen angels, Satan shouted so loudly, he called so loud. Satan shouted at the fallen angels so loudly that the empty, hollow deep is the empty vault of hell revertebrated. So the hollow is empty vault of hell revertebrated. So of hell resounded. Princes, potentates, warriors, the flower of heaven, once yours, now lost. So if such astonishment as this can seize eternal spirits, or have you chosen this place after the toil of battle to repose your weird virtue? For the ease you find to slumber here as in the vales of heaven. So he is asking questions to the fallen angels. Have you decided to rest here forever after the defeat? Satan called them princes, powerful lords, warriors, and the pick of the heavenly host. And he said, see, once heaven belonged to all of us. It belonged to us. It belonged to you. Now it is gone from you. And he says, I wonder if such amazement can ever assail immortal spirits. And he says, Satan says, and he asked the fallen angels, have you chosen this dismal place to rest after the hardship of battle? Have you chosen this place, you weird venture, for the ease you find to slumber here as in the vales of heaven? He is asking the fallen angels, have you chosen this dismal place to rest after the hardship of battle? Perhaps, he says, you find it as comfortable to sleep here as in the valleys of heaven. So you would have felt happy or comfortable to sleep here as in the valleys of heaven. Or lying prone on the lake, have you vowed to worship your victor, to adore the conqueror? So have you vowed, laying here in this object posture, have you vowed, have ye sworn, have you vowed, have you promised to God to worship him? Worship victors, worship conquerors, worship God. To God it is now a pleasure to see the cherub and seraphim roll on the sea with their arms and standards scattered. So till his God's ministers of vengeance see our abject condition from the gates of heaven, and coming down, crash us down, fainting, as they are with a chain of thunderbolts. So they have to fasten them down to the bottom of the gulf. And he says, awake, arise, or be forever fallen. So you must break your chains, break the shackles, awake from your trance, start up, otherwise remain forever cast down, like this. So awake, arise, or be forever fallen. So this is after hearing that is a previous line, awake, arise, or be forever fallen. They heard and were abashed, and up they sprang upon the wing, as when men wont to watch on duty, sleeping found by whom they dread, rouse and bestir themselves before well awake. So the fallen angels, they heard Satan's sound, they heard Satan's summons, and were ashamed. Abashed is ashamed. They were ashamed, and up they sprang. They rose on their wings as quickly as sentinels. As quickly as, sentinels are the people who caught on sleeping during their duty. Okay, so that is the comparison here. So sentinels, they sprang upon the wing as the men or sentinels, a person who want to watch on duty, sleeping found by whom they dread. So they were ashamed, and they rose on their wings as quickly, that is when caught by their superior or officer on sleeping, okay, during their duty. And nor were they insensible to their miserable condition or to the fierce torment which they endured, yet they at once responded to the summons of their leader in their multitudes. Okay, innumerable or multitudes. Yet they responded to the summons or the command of their superior, and they obeyed his command. Next is another comparison, as when the potent rod of Amram's son in Egypt's devil day. This is another comparison, that is they were compared, the angels were compared to Moses. Okay, we'll see next part, the remaining lines. Thank you.